Are you preparing for a business analyst interview and want to make a remarkable impression on your prospective employer? This video guide will take you through the top 20 business analyst interview questions and their crisp answers. This comprehensive guide aims to help you understand what employers are looking for in a business analyst. It covers a range of questions from the fundamental to the role-specific ones, ensuring you are well prepared for your interview. 1. What business analysis methodologies and frameworks are you familiar with? I have experience with several business analysis methodologies and frameworks. These include but are not limited to SWOT analysis, PESTLE analysis, MOST analysis, heptalysis, STER analysis, and MOSCOW method. These methodologies have been instrumental in structuring and streamlining my analysis process. They allow me to take into account various factors that affect a business, such as its internal strengths and weaknesses, external opportunities and threats, market trends, and regulatory requirements. I utilize the framework that best fits the specific needs of the project at hand. My work with these methodologies has equipped me with a broad range of tools and techniques for conducting in-depth business analysis. I am able overall to adapt to different business environments and requirements, providing valuable insights and recommendations to drive strategic decision-making and business success. 2. Describe your experience with requirements gathering and documentation techniques. In my previous role as a business analyst, I was responsible for gathering and documenting business requirements for several complex projects. My approach typically involved conducting detailed interviews with key stakeholders to understand their needs and expectations. I also facilitated group discussions and workshops to gather broader insights and consensus on project requirements. After the requirements gathering phase, I used various documentation techniques such as use case diagrams, workflow diagrams, and data flow diagrams to illustrate the requirements visually. I found these to be very effective in ensuring a common understanding among all stakeholders, including both business and technical teams. In terms of tools, I frequently used Microsoft Visio for creating diagrams and Microsoft Word for writing detailed requirement specifications. I also ensured regular communication with stakeholders throughout the process to validate and refine the requirements as needed. This iterative process was crucial in maintaining alignment and avoiding costly rework later in the project. In terms of overall requirements management, I used tools like Jira and Confluence to maintain a centralized repository of requirements and associated documentation. This made it easier to track changes, manage versions, and ensure all team members had access to the most up-to-date information. 3. Which business intelligence and data visualization tools have you worked with? I have worked with a variety of business intelligence and data visualization tools during my career. I am familiar with Tableau for data visualization, which I find incredibly versatile and intuitive for creating interactive dashboards. For business intelligence, I have used Microsoft Power BI and IBM Cognos. Power BI is great for creating comprehensive reports and dashboards, while Cognos is powerful for its predictive analytics capabilities. Additionally, I've used SQL for database management and data manipulation. I continuously learn about new tools to stay updated in this rapidly evolving field. 4. How do you approach data modeling and database design? To approach data modeling and database design, I first understand the business requirements in depth. This allows me to identify what data will be necessary and how it will be used. From there, I create a conceptual model that outlines the main entities and relationships. Once this is agreed upon, I move on to designing the logical model, which includes details such as attribute data types and constraints. This step often involves collaboration with developers and other stakeholders. Finally, I translate the logical model into a physical model, taking into account the specificities of the database management system being used. 5. Explain your process for conducting a cost-benefit analysis. My process for conducting a cost-benefit analysis begins with clearly defining the project or decision that's being evaluated. It's crucial to understand its scope and objectives. Then, I identify all potential costs associated with the project, both direct and indirect. This could include expenditures on materials, labor, training, or any other resources needed. Next, I calculate the expected benefits. These can be tangible, like increased revenue or cost savings, or intangible, like improved customer satisfaction or brand reputation. I then assign a monetary value to these benefits, which can be challenging, especially for the intangible ones. Afterwards, I compare the total costs to the total benefits. If the benefits outweigh the costs, the project may be worthwhile. However, this is not the only factor to consider. I also assess the project's impact on other areas of the business, the risks involved, and the timeline for seeing a return on investment. This analysis allows me to provide a comprehensive evaluation of the project's viability and profitability. 6. Tell me about a challenging project you worked on. What was your role and how did you overcome obstacles? In one of my previous roles, I was assigned to a project that involved implementing a new customer relationship management (CRM) system. As the lead business analyst, my responsibilities included gathering requirements, developing user stories, and liaising between the technical team and stakeholders. The project faced several challenges, including resistance from users due to the change in their daily work routines and issues with data migration. To address these obstacles, I conducted multiple training sessions to help users understand the benefits of the new system and how it would streamline their processes. For the data migration issue, I worked closely with the IT team to understand the problems and helped devise a solution that ensured data integrity. The project was successful and the new CRM system improved efficiency and customer satisfaction. This experience taught me that clear communication, effective problem-solving skills, and user training are crucial in overcoming obstacles in any project. 7. How do you prioritize requirements when working on multiple projects simultaneously? My approach to prioritizing requirements across multiple projects typically involves a mix of understanding the business objectives, capacity of resources, and urgency of each project. I start by clarifying the business goals associated with each project and aligning them with strategic priorities. This allows me to understand the impact of each requirement on the business. Next, I consider the resources available and what can be realistically achieved within the given timeframe. Resource allocation is often a critical factor in determining priorities. I also assess the urgency of each project. Some projects may have a fixed deadline due to regulatory requirements or market demands, making them a higher priority. Finally, I communicate these priorities to all stakeholders. Transparency in this process is crucial for managing expectations and ensuring that everyone understands the rationale behind the prioritization. This systematic approach, combined with regular reassessment of priorities, helps me manage multiple projects effectively while meeting business objectives. 8. Describe a time when you had to manage conflicting stakeholder expectations. How did you handle it? In my previous role, I was faced with a situation where two key stakeholders had differing opinions on the direction of a project. Stakeholder A was focused on immediate results, while stakeholder B was more interested in long-term sustainability. Firstly, I ensured to listen to both stakeholders carefully, acknowledging their concerns and objectives. I facilitated meetings with both parties, aiming to find a middle ground. I used data and facts to present potential outcomes for both approaches, highlighting the pros and cons. This helped to illustrate the impacts of each decision. By maintaining open and transparent communication, I was able overall to mediate the situation and we agreed on a hybrid approach that considered both immediate results and long-term sustainability. This experience taught me the importance of diplomacy and effective communication in handling conflicting stakeholder expectations. 9. Walk me through how you typically approach a new business analysis project from start to finish. I start a new business analysis project by understanding the business problem or opportunity. I collaborate with stakeholders to define the project's scope and objectives. Then I gather data related to the project, either from existing sources or through new research. I analyze this data to identify trends, patterns, and insights, and I use these findings to form a preliminary solution or strategy. I then create a detailed business requirements document, outlining the proposed solution or strategy in detail. This document is shared with stakeholders for review and feedback. After any necessary revisions, the final solution is implemented. During implementation, I monitor the project's progress to ensure it is going according to plan. If there are any issues or challenges, I work with the project team to resolve them. Following implementation, I conduct a post-implementation review to assess the project's success and identify areas for improvement in future projects. 10. Give an example of how you've used data analysis to drive business decisions. In my previous role in a retail company, we were experiencing a decline in sales. Using data analysis, I identified patterns in customer buying behavior and found that certain products were not performing well. By analyzing the data, I was able to determine that these products were not in high demand among our target demographic. I presented these findings to our product management team. Based on this information, we decided to discontinue these products and focus on products that appeal more to our customers. This led to an increase in sales and customer satisfaction. 11. How do you explain complex technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders? My approach to explaining complex technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders relies on simplicity, relatability, and patience. I start by breaking down the idea into its most basic components. Analogies and metaphors are often useful tools to make the information more relatable. For instance, if I were explaining cloud computing, I might compare it to a utility like electricity. You don't need to understand how it's generated to use it effectively. I also make sure to pause frequently for questions and to check for understanding. It's important not to rush explanations, as this can cause confusion. Lastly, I use visual aids whenever possible, as they can help to clarify concepts and hold the listener's attention. 12. Describe your experience facilitating meetings and workshops. In my role as a business analyst, I have had the opportunity to facilitate many meetings and workshops. I believe it's crucial to have a clear objective for each meeting, a detailed agenda, and to ensure all relevant stakeholders are present. My role is often to guide the conversation, keep the team focused on the task at hand, and ensure that everyone's views are heard. During workshops, I often use techniques like brainstorming, SWOT analysis, and process mapping to stimulate creative thinking and problem solving. I've found that these methods encourage participation and make the sessions more productive. Navigating through different personalities and managing conflicts during these sessions is another skill I've developed. I always try to create an environment where everyone feels comfortable to voice their ideas and opinions, as I believe that this leads to the best outcomes. I have also facilitated virtual meetings and workshops, where I've made use of various online collaborative tools to engage participants and maintain effective communication. These experiences have helped me to develop strong facilitation skills, and I'm always looking for ways to improve and adapt my approach to fit the needs of the team and the project. 13. How would you adapt your analysis approach for a startup versus a large enterprise? In a startup, with typically fewer resources and less structured data, my focus is on quick wins and immediate value add. I'd adopt an agile, hands-on approach, working directly with the team to understand needs, identify priorities, and deliver insights rapidly. I would ensure my analysis is flexible and scalable as startups evolve fast. In contrast, in a large enterprise, I'd focus on understanding the intricate details of the existing systems, processes, and data structures. The analysis would be more in-depth and long-term, often involving multiple departments and stakeholders. I would also leverage sophisticated BI tools and techniques to handle the more significant volume and complexity of data. In both scenarios, clear communication, stakeholder management, and aligning the analysis with strategic goals are crucial. 14. Tell me about a time you had to influence a decision without having authority. Being an effective influencer without having direct authority is a vital skill in business analysis. In my previous role, I had to convince our development team to adopt a new data management tool. They were content with the existing process, but I had identified several efficiency gains and potential risk reductions with the new tool. I began by conducting a detailed analysis of the benefits and drawbacks of the current system versus the proposed one. I presented my findings to the team, explaining how the new tool would not only make their work easier but would also increase the reliability and integrity of the data we were working with. I had to be patient, respectful, and persistent, reinforcing my points in various team meetings and one-on-one talks. Gradually, my colleagues agreed to a trial run of the new tool. The positive results from the trial convinced them to adopt the tool fully. My approach was to focus on the benefits and improvements rather than forcing change, and it worked effectively. 15. How do you ensure clear communication between technical and business teams? In ensuring clear communication between technical and business teams, it's important to establish common ground. This can be achieved by using relatable examples or analogies when explaining technical concepts to business teams. Additionally, having a good understanding of both the business and technical aspects allows for easier translation of requirements and expectations between both teams. Regular meetings and updates also play a crucial role in keeping all parties informed about the project's progress. I always encourage open discussions and feedback, as these foster better understanding and collaboration. It's also essential to use clear, concise, and jargon-free language whenever possible, especially when dealing with non-technical team members. To ensure that everyone is on the same page, I make it a point to document and share all decisions, actions, and updates with all the stakeholders. 16. Describe a situation where you identified a business problem and proposed a solution. My role as a business analyst often involves identifying business problems and proposing effective solutions. One such instance was in my previous role at a retail company. The company was experiencing a decrease in sales, and my task was to investigate the cause and recommend solutions. Upon analysis, I discovered that the decline was primarily in the online sales segment. By digging deeper into the data, I noticed a high cart abandonment rate on the company's website. Additionally, customer reviews revealed that many found the checkout process tedious and time-consuming. I proposed a solution to streamline the online checkout process. This included eliminating unnecessary steps, adding clearer instructions, and including an option for guest checkout. We also implemented a follow-up system to remind customers of abandoned carts. After implementing these changes, the company saw a significant improvement in online sales. Therefore, I believe in the power of data to identify problems and propose effective solutions. 17. How do you validate the accuracy and relevance of the data you're analyzing? To ensure the accuracy and relevance of the data I'm analyzing, I employ several strategies. I verify the data sources to ensure they are reliable and trustworthy. I cross-reference data against other sources to check consistency where possible, and use data cleansing techniques to identify and correct errors. I also ensure the data aligns with the business context and is relevant to the problem at hand. In terms of relevance, I confer with project stakeholders to understand their specific needs and priorities. This allows me to focus on the most pertinent data for the project. At times, statistical analysis or data visualization methods may be used to better understand patterns within the data and its relevance to the project. I also use data profiling techniques to understand the structure, relationships, and values within the dataset. This provides further insights into its relevance and accuracy. Finally, regular audits and review processes are put in place to continually validate the data as the project progresses. 18. Tell me about a time you had to make a recommendation with incomplete information. As a business analyst, I often find myself in situations where I have to make recommendations based on incomplete information. One such instance was when I was tasked with troubleshooting a decrease in sales for a specific product line. I had access to recent sales data, but historical data was missing due to a system migration. I used the available data to identify trends and patterns. I also relied heavily on my intuition and experience in similar situations. I proposed a strategy that included targeted marketing and promotional discounts. Despite the incomplete data, my recommendation led to an increase in sales for that product line. 19. What techniques do you use for root cause analysis? In conducting root cause analysis, I primarily use the 5 whys technique. This method involves asking why 5 times, or as many as needed, to get to the root of a problem. It's a simple and effective way to uncover the underlying cause of an issue. Another technique I use is the fishbone diagram, also known as Ishikawa diagram. This tool helps identify many possible causes for an issue and categorize them. It allows for a thorough examination of a problem, making it easier to find solutions. I also use the Pareto analysis, which helps prioritize the most significant causes of a problem. This technique is based on the Pareto principle, which states that 80% of problems are due to 20% of causes. By focusing on these major causes, one can have a substantial impact on the problem. 20. How do you stay updated on industry trends and emerging technologies? In the rapidly evolving world of technology, staying updated on industry trends is crucial. I make a conscious effort to read industry-specific news, blogs, and articles regularly. I follow notable influencers and thought leaders on social media platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter, who often share valuable insights and updates. I also subscribe to newsletters from reputable tech websites and participate in webinars and online courses. Attending industry conferences and networking events also provide a great opportunity to understand the latest trends and connect with professionals in the field. I believe that learning is a continuous process, and it's important to stay abreast of emerging technologies to maintain a competitive edge and provide the best possible solutions. We hope this guide on the top 20 business analyst interview questions and answers has offered you valuable insights and will be crucial to your preparation. If you found this video helpful, please do like it and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. Thank you for choosing us as your learning partner.